You know, 2020 is a year of adding some pep to our life.
Some pep?
Yeah, people, experiences, and places.
Right.
So since we're doing new things, we have new friends.
Yes.
I'm so excited about having Vaughn and Jay on from Butterfly Life. And they're going to share with us their amazing love story. And they are van lifers.
Yeah, buddy. That's going to be fun to talk to. So we really appreciate it. And that's going to be coming up next on this episode of the Rich Relationship Podcast with Gil and Renee.
Welcome to the Rich Relationship Podcast with Gil
and Renee, where amazing things happen. Our goal is to help build, repair, and restore healthy relationships.
Our primary focus is on the marriage relationship. However, the topics are applicable to the relationships that we value most. Remember, we're stronger together.
Let's grow.
One of the things that's important about being a military wife is that you learn to make friends fast.
Right.
And you're open to new people.
Absolutely.
And I'm so grateful for that because I would have never met this amazing couple.
You know, in this day and time, you can meet people. If you're not meeting people virtually, it's going to be tough because right now, everybody has to do things virtually.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful and grateful that you touched out and reached and we met.
You were watching them on Instagram first. And so I'm said, let me reach out to this amazing couple and talk to them. And we just connected. So Vaughn and Jay, thank you for joining us. And tell everybody a little bit about your amazing love story.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We are excited to have you here.
You know, it's always funny when we talk to couples and we always say, tell us a little bit about your love story. So this is like the first test. We want to see who's going to start the story. This is where you look at each other like, you gonna do it? You gonna do it?
Well, I think it started because I had to go out west. He was already out west. My job opportunity took me out that way. So I actually caught myself moving out that way. You know, I actually literally sold all my big stuff, like my furniture and stuff like that. I packed whatever I could fit in my car, and I shot out west. I had a buddy that was one of my best friends was already working out that way. And he said, man, just come on out. You know, I took that as a new opportunity just to like start over again, you know, get a fresh start, start my life over. So I packed everything up and headed out that way. That's how I wound up running into her.
Now, Vaughn, you were already in the West already? What part of the West were you guys traveling or where'd you end up from?
I started out in Chicago and then I got an opportunity to go to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I was Southwest. And I wanted to go to California, but I turned that opportunity down because of the cost of living. And I took the Las Vegas one, and I said, you know what? If I don't do it now, I may just miss the opportunity. I knew I'd leave Illinois because I was one of the kids of, you know, my mom and dad's where they knew I like traveling. I'm not afraid to leave. You know, I'm on the go. So I took it. Yeah, I took it. And I met Jay in Las Vegas. I always tell him, I was minding my business, you know, doing my thing, and I meet you. But we met online though.
Okay, so how did that work? How did you guys meet?
Well, my journey started out in Cleveland, and I drove out there. And I guess you could.
Well, he's an electrician. He didn't tell you that. These are like a bunch of electricians that travel. So that's the reason why he ended up there, because all those big projects out there. So that's a lot of them were called from different states.
So he brought the light.
That's how I wound out.
And the power.
But
there you go.
I said I wasn't coming back. I said I was going to move out west, you know, stay out there and work. And like I said, you know, start over out there and just kind of stay out west. And that's also a funny thing of it, because I'm saying, you know, I was, you know, I felt I was ready for, you know, a relationship and all that. So I said, I would joke and say to my friends, I'm going to get me a West Coast girl, you know, because I'm moving from the Midwest. I'm going to get me a Cali girl, you know. So I'm out there, and my generation, not so good with the computer. So that was really my first experience with computers when I was out there. And my buddies, you know, he's going, well, you know, you can meet girls online and stuff like that. So I said, okay, let me try this, you know, computer stuff, you know. So I really,
computer love.
Right. So, you know, I dipped and dabbed a little bit with it, and the results weren't all that desirable.
Right.
I was doing it. My buddy was single, so we both were trying to meet somebody, and we would joke. It would be funny about the kind of people we would meet. You have a little date to meet somebody. You see the pictures they put up online, and when you go to meet them, it's nothing like what you were expecting.
They call that catfish.
Yeah.
We know that now.
Until you met Vaughn.
Until I met Vaughn. So I have to tell this story. So this is I think it's really funny, but because we really got off on a good start. So my buddy and I, like I said, we had these experiences, and I got catfished. So a joke between me and my buddy became, if things look too good to be true, gotta be careful. Might be a man.
Ooh, that's scary.
So that was me and my buddy. That was our joke together. So I saw Vaughn. It's actually a social site. It wasn't a dating site. And so I sent her a couple little messages here and there, and I got a response back once, maybe twice, and I kind of started getting that. I think she's blowing me off. Here we go again. So I kind of gave up. Actually, I'm like, well, all right, I'll just keep it moving. Lo and behold, she responded back to me. So
how did she respond back?
Oh, she responded back on the site. So we corresponded back and forth a few times, and she finally agreed to meet me. So I go, okay. So I get her address to come over to see her, and turned out she was literally around the corner from where I was staying.
Wow.
I saw this address. I'm like, wait a minute, that's down the street, around the corner, the first complex. And I'm like, how could I never see this woman? And she literally stays right around the corner.
Wow.
Like, okay. So.
Well, your biggest thing, as you said, too, is like you go to the grocery store, like literally down the street from my apartment. And I said, well, you definitely wouldn't have saw me because I don't like to cook much. So, and I can't stand grocery shopping.
Right. We were on different time schedules, too. But, doing the work that I do, the construction, we had an early time schedule and stuff like that. So I hop in the car and I get there. I pull up the complex. It comes out.
No, first I wouldn't even give you the actual apartment number. I made you stay outside the gate because I really wasn't sure. I was like,
that's right.
I'm not
first
sure.
You're going to meet me at the gate.
I was just getting ready to say, that's a Chicago girl right there. It was like, hold up, let me check this out first.
Exactly. So, yeah, so she lets me come in. So I come around to the apartment. I pull up, and she comes walking out, and I'm like, wow. She looks just like her picture. That's the first thing I said to myself.
Say, dun,
she
dun,
looks just like her picture. Right, exactly. So, okay, hey, this is a start. This is a good start. So, she comes out, we introduce, whatnot, and she invites me in. So I come in, and she has this cute little dog.
That was Lulu.
And she introduced me to Lulu.
She was a deal breaker. If he didn't like my dog, I would not talk to him again.
What about the dog liking him first? Was that like a checks and balances?
I wanted to see how she reacted. And
right.
She sniffed, and she didn't meet many people, so she only knew family. So I kept thinking, I want to see how, because some people don't like dogs. And I know that I've read and seen couples that have gotten rid of their dogs and then relationships don't work. And I said that I don't know how anyone can do that. But I was like, that's my baby. She was probably 8 when we met. Mm-hmm. She was like 8 years old, and I had her since she was 7 weeks old.
Oh wow!
So she smelled on him a little bit, and then once she did just like what she does with friends and family, as she lays down and want that tummy rub, and she did it with him. And inside, I was just like, I didn't want to show it, and I was just like, yes,
he passed the dog test.
His energy is good. The dog knows.
I passed the Lulu test.
Well, what about the Vaughn test? When you first seen him, Vaughn, were you like, yes, he looks like his picture?
It's so interesting. And it's such a great question because when I saw him, I kept thinking, he looks familiar. And I knew I talked, he sent me a couple messages, and yes, I did blow him off online. One day I was on my way I may have been going shopping. I'm not sure, but I had Lulu in the car. And you know how you just can tell if you've been in any town long enough, you can tell when certain people are not from there without even looking at their, because it's a funny joke that some men in the 100-degree weather, they're wearing velour outfits with gold chains and you just can spot them. But this one, he was dressed nice. He had the button shirt. He was dressed for the weather, so to speak. So I looked and I'm thinking, he's handsome. And honestly, it was like a breakfast at Tiffany's. You know how the guy sees the lady and she's looking at the jewelry?
Uh-huh.
This was worse for me, honestly. If I look over, he didn't even look at me. He didn't look at me. I'm like, he just keep on driving. He didn't look one time. And I'm trying to put the window down. Here it is hot, over 100 degrees in Vegas. I got Lulu in my lap at the time. And I'm like, she's moving around. He's just one of them. I said, well, one thing about him, if he does look over, I can say he's not one of those neck breaking men, looking at everything moving.
Right.
I'm like, I like that. But he never looked. But when I met him, it was like, 2.5 months later? I was like, you're that guy.
You're the guy from Tiffany's.
Yeah, you're the guy. He was on the street in his vehicle, and I was in mine, and he just never looked over.
At the light.
Yeah, at the light. And I was just like, you didn't even look at me. I know who you are. I was like, you're the same guy that's online? You look different. And, it was just a joke. We had something to laugh about that first time we met. It was funny.
That sounded like multiple movies right there.
It was a pretty good icebreaker.
So the plan was we were supposed to go out, and a friend of mine, she recommended this club that we should go to. It wasn't that far from where, our part of town. So I was talking to her on the phone. She goes, well, how's Vaughn dressed? And I told her, da-da-da-da-da. And she said, well, why don't you tell her, maybe she should change and put a skirt on or something? And I said, okay. So
I was not trying to be all super sexy. I had everything sealed up, buttoned up.
That's right.
I did.
So she decided to change, right? So she goes into the bathroom. And so, like I told you, me and my buddy, we had this running joke between us. Looks too good, might be a man. And so she goes into the bathroom to change and whatnot. And so I take this opportunity to try to text my buddy real fast. So I snatched my phone out of my pocket. I text him real quick. Da-da-da-da-da. Man, things are going so great. Gotta be careful though. Might be a man. Send. Put the phone back in my pocket.
Oh boy.
So I'm sitting there. The door opens up to the bathroom. He goes,
I'll tell you what I said. I walked out, and when I came out, I wasn't upset. I laughed. I'm like, he just sent the wrong text.
Oh no.
He said she looks like her picture. Her place is nice. And you did say that she done got 3 or 4 kids running all over the place. And I'm just hoping she's not a man. This is too good to be true. And she's cold. That's what he said. I walk out, even though I had everything all zipped up, buttoned up. But I walked out of that bathroom, and I had just a little tank on with, the skirt that I changed. I opened up the blazer, and that's like, honey, there ain't nothing man about this. And I think you sent the wrong text. And he was so embarrassed.
That is hilarious.
We laughed.
I got lucky. It did go the right way. It could have went the wrong way.
Well, I was just ready to say that. Was the date over, or did you get a laugh about it and y'all just kept on going? Obviously.
Exactly. We got a good laugh out of that.
We laughed. We did. We laughed. And
we went on to had a good time.
We did. We had a really good date. It was, we talked a lot. Like old friends. It seemed like old friends.
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful. So how many of these dates did you have before you knew she was the one, and how did you pop the question?
There weren't a lot of dates before I knew. I could maybe say like 1 or 2.
Wow.
Like people say, we vibe, I felt that, I felt a like connection between us,
Especially with traveling and photography. Start talking about that.
Yeah, we both like travel. We had a lot of things that we each liked that we both like to do, kind of had in common.
That's wonderful.
I think we had about probably 3 dates. Then we had breakfast one day because I didn't want everything to be at night. So we did some day date, some lunch. And then one afternoon we had either a late breakfast or something like that. And I was not given the hug, kiss, nothing. And before I was just like, well, we'll talk again. And before I could close the door, he snuck in a kiss. I was like, what? He snuck in a kiss. He was just a light kiss. He was still a gentleman about it. Wasn't all crazy. He didn't grab me nuts or anything like that. But I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I was smooth with it.
Now, you guys said something that was so important during the dating process, that you guys communicated a lot, and a lot of things that we kind of talk with other couples on is how important that is in establishing their relationship. What would you guys say was other than the communication part, was something that was also just as important when you were just dating in the getting to know each other process?
Laughing, making each other laugh. And like I said, we both kind of enjoy doing the same things. We both like to be on the go, out and about, and we enjoy each other's company.
We did. I didn't know if he was into meditating. I would go to Red Rock, and I was into yoga, meditating. And one thing we did say with each other is just to accept each other's personalities. I wasn't going to try to make him do yoga, and he wasn't going to try to make me. He was into a lot of biking, and I hadn't before. So we talked about, learning each other's passions and trying them. And then he didn't do the yoga so much with me, but he did the meditating. So that was nice.
Yeah, she introduced me to some new things. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool.
Oh, and dieting. We talked, not diet. I hate the word diet. I'm sorry. Eating better.
Right.
So we talked that. We would have movie night, and he would cook, and we'd have, he'd cook. He liked cooking. So when I mentioned that I don't like going to the grocery store, I'm really not the best cook. So Jay doesn't mind. We switch off. And he knew that from the beginning, instead of feeling like he can change that, because going on how many years? 11?
12.
He always say 12. It's so less. Okay, 12. That's still not my strong point. I mean, I still burn a couple of things. But we talked about eating better, not so much. He was a pancake maker like every morning.
When I met her, like I said, I initially said I wanted to be a West Coast girl. Well, I got a West Coast girl in the way that she ate. I would and she's very neat, and her apartment looked like it was staged. You know how you see the sample apartment when you go look at an apartment building. That's how her apartment.
The model.
Kill it, Renee. Basically,
everything looked perfect.
Well, because I was in housing,
but there was nothing in her refrigerator.
You said it was staged, right?
Yeah.
Well, because I worked in the housing industry and corporate housing, so there was a lot of staging, and so that's what I was used to. And having a grandmother, I know this is kind of off topic. Having a grandmother that was kind of superstitious about everything. She said, when you invite new people over, make sure your hairbrush is not out in the bathroom. Make sure you didn't have any personal pictures. So my house was really staged, and I just kind of
kept it that way.
That's what my homes look like, or apartments.
And and as us dating, and being around her more and more, and I'm like, when do you eat?
When you take me out.
I don't see you eat. And I was actually kind of concerned. I'm like, when do you eat?
Well, because my taste buds would change. I'm not a person that grocery shops for a week or two ahead. It changes. And when you're buying fresh fruit or salads or, greenery, it just doesn't stay fresh. So you can't buy all that stuff for long distance. Make it fun.
Yeah, she's into that, the healthy stuff.
Anyways, we came to a common ground. I didn't make him eat the way I was eating. He doesn't make me eat the way he eats, but he did make some changes. He was drinking soda every day, which he says pop. I say soda. It's soda. And he doesn't drink that. He drinks water now, maybe some sweet tea, but not the soda every day. And we get our exercise in, because when we were on this vacation for 17 days, we walked every day. I'm missing that.
That's beautiful.
And that's awesome. So we're talking to Vaughn and Jay, and they just told us a great, great story about how they met. And we're going to talk to them a little bit about the new lifestyle that they're actually living that led us to meet them. Coming up next on this episode of the Rich Relationship Podcast with Gil and Renee.
Gil and Renee Beaver's over 30-year relationship is the genesis for the Rich Relationship Podcast, which is designed to empower individuals with the tools, principles, and the community needed to unpack ourselves, our past, and our preconceived notions associated with relationships.
Let's get empty and grow together so that our lives will be filled with love and healthy, rich relationships. Now let's go into our show.
So we've been talking to Vaughn and Jay about their love story on this episode.
They are hilarious.
This is funny, yeah. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out, we ask you to go back to the beginning to hear how they met and some of the funny things that happened during their dating stage. But now we want to talk a little bit about the life chapter that they're in right now, which is how we kind of came across each other's paths with the van life. So one of the questions I wanted to start out with is, how did you guys decide? I know you guys mentioned that when it came to travel, you both had a love of travel. So how did you guys decide on this mode of travel for both of you guys?
Well, we were both, after several trips, and about 3 years ago, Jay was asked to contract in Germany. And I went there for, I would say, a month. And that was hard. And we were realizing that even though he was contracting in different states, it became a little stressful, and it also even get lonely, even though I could fly there, because at this time I had switched over from the field that I was in, and I started with the hotels here in Ohio. So I said, okay, well, I could fly where I need to and meet him where he is. And then the companies, they have, depending on how he got contracted, they'd have an apartment. That was nice, but still, that was such a long distance. So while we were in Germany, we said if he ever got a chance to go back again or out of the country, that I would come this time, and then I would go the entire time span instead of just taking time off work, flying back, and then we'd be in a park. And it happened again, so they called him again. So we ended up going to Wiesbaden, Germany, and then when we got back, the union was going to call him back to another state. And while he was away, I was here. He was still just like a couple states over instead of international. And I started looking. I was always looking on YouTube at travel channels. I stumbled upon the YouTube with van life. I was like, oh, I heard about this when we were in Europe, because there's a lot of Europeans that build these vans for van life, these tiny homes. I kept thinking, I said, well, Jay's going to be home in about a week. I'm just going to do a little research here. So I did a little bit of research. I started looking. I'm like, oh, a van. And I thought maybe a camper. I originally wanted a schoolie. But the reason I thought about it was, if every contract he took and was domestic, a domestic contract, then that was a way that we can not only work travel together, spend more time together, save money, save the per diem. The company was actually paying to stay somewhere, and build a tiny home. I had to wait until he got home, and I said on the phone, like a couple of days before he got home, I said, I got something I want to share with you, but I want you to just sit down and watch it with me and see what you think about it. I think I found a way for us to not only continue our travel, but also too for housing. When you're away, when you take these contracts out of, state to state. He came home, showed him, the videos. And at first he was trying to think, well, the schoolie would, he kept thinking the schoolie would be too big, which is a school bus. Yeah, that's kind of too big because it's only for us. If you really think about it, I think for the vans, at least, it's more of a tiny house for singles or either just two people with no kids.
Right.
It was a way to really, I think, not just save money, but to really find a way to be together. We had to plan it, agree, and he liked it. But we kept thinking, we knew what kind of van we had to find. We chose the ProMaster. Right. And they were so hard to find because the Amazon companies were buying them so quick. And I was like, we're going to find it. He was like, you're really sure? I'm like, yep. It was February when we talked about it. We found it in March. Unfortunately, because of COVID, but dealerships were panicking. So whatever inventory they had, they just wanted to, hey, let's just sell this. But we got really lucky on an unfortunate situation of COVID. We got really lucky. We found what we needed. We got a great price on it. It was brand new, 2020. But with that said, it's just that I think I was also ready to do something different because I was getting tired of the winters. If really had to be honest, I was getting tired of the winters. And we were going to move either Florida, Georgia, or back to Las Vegas. But then I thought, we're going to take all this money that we saved up, put in a down payment, and guess what? All right, we got a home base here because it's a family house. We didn't want to sell it. And then we would still have a mortgage in another state, and we're already 50, in our 50s. I was like, no, we want to stay pretty much debt free and mortgage free. This was the most smartest thing we think financially that we can do, because now
with the vacation home, we had been stuck
in one place.
Exactly.
Yep.
Probably get tired of being there. So,
we're back in the same position.
Yeah, we're in the same position again.
And so this was the smartest thing. We'll keep the home base here. And now we've been traveling different states. We did going south. We did the Carolinas, and we did have at least 3 months in between. So we took a short contract, and that was our first experience towards the beginning of fall to experience what the tiny house would be like how much room in there, square footage we would have, and knowing where everything was after we did the build, and just how we would
function in that.
Yeah, together. And we were fine. We would hear, some say, oh, it's small. It's just I think you have to just prepare yourself, because being in Europe, we had our dog with us, and it was us two, and we had a apartment that was only 250 or maybe a little less than 300 square feet. So we knew we could do it, and we enjoyed each other's company. So it was easy for us.
That's the main thing. You have to enjoy each other.
Yes.
And you have to like being around each other, because you are definitely in each other's space 24/7.
What is one thing that if you could do over again, what would you do different with your new decision, with your new lifestyle?
Maybe a tweak or two in the van. Nothing major I can think of that I would any kind of big changes, because she pretty much she envisioned, she mapped it out. She did the layout, put my hands to it, and did the work. She dreamed everything up, and I physically put it together.
Honestly, when you mentioned, because some have asked us, do you wish you would have taken that money and bought a home and back in Vegas again? No. Someone's house, I would not take it, you guys. I really wouldn't. Exactly. I like the freedom. It's an immense feeling of freedom that you get. And it's not for everyone, but the cost of housing now, when I think about it, there's nothing different I would have done. This is one of the best decisions financially. It's not just about the house. It's the exploring we've done. It's exciting because it's different.
You get such a feeling of freedom.
You do.
That's what I was telling her, after our first trip that we took, we were on the road. We were on the road for 16 days. And that initially was just supposed to be, hey, we got some time. Let's take the van, the state over and something. Let's just go somewhere, stay a weekend and come back. Next thing we know, we hit the road and we never look back.
Wow.
Let's go a little further.
Yeah.
Let's go a little further. And that's what was so awesome about it is I've always loved to travel, but I've never been able to leisurely travel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is the first time I've had to experience where I can just drive till I get tired, or, it's starting to get dark. Hey, let's pull over and go to sleep. We got the home right there. So we can literally
our
go somewhere,
bed,
rest stop or whatever. We can sleep for the night, get up in the morning, make breakfast, have coffee. You ready to go? Yeah, okay, let's get back on the road.
Or even Harvest Host. Yeah, Harvest Host, we have that membership. But one I would say when you took the one contract for work, that was so different to us, because it was like, how you go to work and you come home? So he'd go to work and, we had the van, and literally this is our day. Drop him off. I would have things to do, and I'm working on what I need to work on behind the computer. So I'd go, our area where we would have our parking space, but I'd literally drop him off at work and then come back and pick him up. I do what I do in the day. He's working. At the end of the day, it's just like coming home, but it was different, but it was so interesting because it was either I cooked for that day, or we could park in a different RV place, or, honestly, one day we actually parked where the Cracker Barrel, because they have so many camper vans and RVs. It was a little different, but then we met people and they were like, "Oh, you guys are, van lifers." Like, yeah. People are like, oh, we saw you guys on Instagram. You know, it was just really nice.
It's really cool.
Just exchange all the reasons why we all are enjoying this freedom. It's like I said, it's different. We do have the best of both worlds. We've had people ask us and say, well, you're not full timers, but you really are full timers if you're 1,800 miles or 2,000 miles away from home.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
you know, it's been an experience. Exciting. It really is. It's exciting. It's different. It's different. We got our little inside tiny home, and you open your back doors and you got a whole backyard of something different, whether it's a lake or the mountains or a beach, or the desert. It's amazing. And again, I'm so glad we did not take that money and buy a house. And those are gorgeous states. And I have to add this in, is that we decided, did we want to finance or did we want to have a note? But because we watched all those YouTube videos, we've seen a few that had the Sprinter or the ProMaster, and we chose the ProMaster. And the biggest other decision we made is to buy it cash, because this was so new for us, is to feel like we were paying for a Airbnb on wheels every month.
Exactly.
We didn't want that. And that was the second best decision we made, is to just buy it cash, because it's just ours. And if there's something about building a home, we've never built a home before. We both have been married before. We both had houses, with, our other marriages. So this was just amazing to, get it right. We didn't hire anyone because of COVID. We learned literally everything online and YouTube, the shower, the fixed bed, the kitchen, the cabinets. We have the shower and toilet combo. So, and we have a little sitting area. So everything we did, but Jay being an electrician, we didn't have to have anyone for that, but, it has really worked. We love it. We really do.
And like I was saying about our first, venture out, like it was only supposed to be maybe a state over and, for a weekend and, a few days. And, it was such an awesome feeling. We wound up in the Appalachian Mountains in a campground.
With no phone
we were so high. Yeah, we were so out, in the woods where, no cell service, no Wi-Fi, none of that.
And I've never camped before.
And we were literally,
you were glamping, girl. You were glamping.
we were literally in bear country, So we stayed there for a couple of days. We experienced that, and then literally within a matter of 3 or 4 hours, the next stop we're at a beach.
North Carolina. We were on the beach.
So we literally went from the mountains, then we went to the beach, and we liked it there. We found a nice
area where there was electricity, there was water. We had our little cable, our cable. We can hook up to that, and just what was it?
We were literally a stone throw away from the beach.
Yeah, there was just a hedge wall. That's it. You could see through it. You could see the pier, but Apache campground. Awesome. And
it's
clean. Very nice.
We liked it. So we, just initially I said, okay, well, give us 3 days. And so we parked, after we experienced the first day, she said, man, I really like this. I want to stay some more. Can we have 3 more days? So we wound up staying there 6 days. I really loved it.
We would love to just continue talking to you guys. This has been so amazing and just piqued the interest. And we definitely want to have, absolutely. We definitely want to have you guys back to just, so we can binge out on just the whole journey and the van life stuff, because this has just been such a great time. But if some people want to just follow you guys and just see where you're at and what you're doing, how can they reach out to you guys and get your contact info if they just want to follow you or just reach out to you about the van life?
We're on Instagram, and that's Butterfly Lifers. And we are also, and there's a website too, the same, butterflylifers.com. We'll be on YouTube soon. We have just a couple things on YouTube, but we won't start actually filming for our YouTube channel, which is Butterfly Lifers as well. We won't start filming that until we take this cross country trip, which is next week.
Wonderful.
But for right now, just on Instagram, having fun. We're trying to have fun with it, and we started there first.
Well, that's good. And we're excited. And we're excited about your story. And, those of you who are interested in learning more about the van life, please follow Vaughn and Jay on Instagram at Butterfly Lifers and connect with them in the future on YouTube. But we just wanted to just tell you thank you for the awe and wonder that you brought to our community, just exposing people to a new way of seeing life and being financially free and even being a couple. I love that you said you have to like each other.
Yes.
That's so important. Yeah. So we really appreciate you guys again. Thank you. And
well, thank you. We have fun. We'll see you guys. We might be coming down that way.
Oh, absolutely. We will definitely hook up. Just remember, guys, we are stronger together.
Let's grow.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for your investment in time. Remember to subscribe to the show and hit the notification icon to be notified when new episodes are posted on the podcast platform that you're listening from.
Or you can always find us on our website at richrelationshipsus.com or our YouTube channel, Rich Relationships with Gil and Renee. If you found this podcast helpful or you think it could help someone that you know and care about, please pass it along and share it with them.
And also, you can always send your questions and comments to richrelationships.us@gmail.com. This is a weekly podcast, and the new episodes are going to be posted on Monday by 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, we're stronger together.
Let's grow.